I am delighted to welcome distinguished senators and all stakeholders to this very important engagement to consider a bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, NIEPA, Ondo State. Senate Bill 2022 for public hearing. The National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, NIEPA, Ondo, was established in 1992 by the Federal Ministry of Education in collaboration with UNESCO, International Institute of Educational Planning, NIEPA, as a staff college for planners and managers in Nigeria education sector and West African sub-region. The institution was conceived to replicate UNESCO IIEP through close collaboration with the Institute and other similar institutions worldwide for effective and efficient planning and management of educational systems through capacity building, continuous training, consulting research, information dissemination, and resource center services. It is worthy to note that the Institute, NIEPA, Ondo, is the only capacity building outfit for educational sector planners and managers in Nigeria and West Africa sub-region, and the only parastatal Federal Ministry of Education in the entire Southwest Nigeria. Sadly, despite the Institute's enormous potentials and its long years of existence and operation, it does not have an enabling law to regulate its activities to strengthen and entrench its core mandate. It is further worthy to note that the absence of any sufficient legislative and legal framework to back up the institution has led to a subtle move by some individuals surreptitiously planned relocation of the institution from its present location in Ondo State without any consideration for the enormous huge infrastructural investment made by the federal government in the institute over the last 30 years of its existence, a development which has generated an avoidable local and regional apprehension had the law establishing the institute had been in place. The crux of this public hearing, therefore, is to aggregate stakeholders' opinion as input with a view of producing enabling laws, which will serve as impetus to drive the Nigeria Institute of Educational Planning and Administration activities. Your participation is therefore crucial to allow the areas of opinion to deepen our legislative values, ideas, and processes, bearing in mind that education is the bedrock of any developed nation. As stakeholders in this transformative engagement, therefore, your energies and time is sacrosanct, as your contribution and input will improve the quality of the bill under consideration and consequently improve on the Nigerian laws as we practice here in the National Assembly. Let me quickly go over the overview of the bill. The bill consists of about 6 sections. Section 1, which is part 1, talks about the establishment. Under that, we have establishment of the institute, objective of the institute, establishment and membership of the governing council, tenure of office, cessation of membership, emolument allowances of members of the council, and functions of the council. That is under establishment. Part 2 deals with functions and powers of the institute. That is functions of the institute and powers of the institute. Then part 3 talks about staff of the institute, director generals of the institute, directors and other staff of the institute, condition of service of the institute, and pension cap 346 law of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Part 4 talks about establishment of boards of studies. And part 5, financial provisions, that is, funds of the institute, powers to borrow, powers to accept gift, investment, exemptions from tax, annual estimates of accounts. And finally, part 6 talks about miscellaneous provisions, which talks about legal proceedings, directives by the minister, mandatory training, powers to make regulations, and interpretation, number 27, interpretations. Let me reaffirm the magnanimity of the Senate under the able leadership of the President of the Senate, His Excellency Dr. Ahmad Lawan, for his determination to strengthen our institution through improvement in the quality of our laws. Let me also emphasize that the Senate will not relent in supporting President Muhammadu Buhari, ECFR policy trust to improve our enabling laws and reforms. I must sincerely thank the Senate President, the Chairman, and the distinguished members of the Senate Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary, who had worked tirelessly to ensure the convocation of this very important public hearing. Finally, I also use this measure to appreciate the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, and we urge him that after the passage of this bill by the two chambers of National Assembly, he will give it accelerated assent for him to set a record never set and beat a record unbeatable in the history of education planning in Nigeria. Once again, welcome all to this public hearing, as I wish you all happy and fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize the distinguished Senator Frank Ibezim, also a member of this committee.
I appreciate all of you. I also want to appreciate Mr. Senate President. He has made his position clear. This institution has been in operation for 30 good years without enabling act of parliament. It has been run as if it's a one-man business. That is why the mandate of the institution has not been achieved significantly. The TCN registrar highlighted some of their few achievements. An institution established in the Southwest region, where the only industry is education. We don't have any business. No, in fact, no industry is producing even cocoa or producing water in Ondo State. The only institution where we have your education is your only business. Maybe that is why the forefathers who established this institution put it in Ondo town. We have University of Ife, the Great Ife, OAU. How many universities in Nigeria, whether located in Abuja or elsewhere, has performed better than the one located in Ife? Location is not the issue here. We are talking about giving it the necessary funding that will enable the institution to be a world-class institution. The issue of moving it to Abuja, I don't know what we want to get from it. You are from Plateau State, DG. You have many federal institutions in Plateau or in your state. Are we now going to say we want to remove them and bring it to Abuja? When we are talking about a federating unit. Ondo State is a federating unit. The only institution that talks about education, because they believe education is their only business. It's not like Lagos, where it's a commercial center. Ondo State is education is our only business. The only institution of federal government that to regulate the quality of education in Nigeria, you say you want to move it to Abuja because you are DG. You have never seek for votes. We have seek for votes. We are democratically elected by our people. We will never open our eyes. Allow that institution to live Ondo to even anywhere. It remains in Ondo town. Then the position of the minister. You know, Mr. President made comment that why is it that when the cities that is necessary to develop education, you won't see the principal officers? I don't think Minister of Education is doing the bit that is necessary for him, for absenting himself from today's sitting. And an institution that plans about the future of education in your country. You ask only legal officer to come and sit between we who are democratically elected. We are knowledgeable more than them. Haba! It's as if we look down on the National Assembly. We are telling Mr. Honorable Minister, he has not done well. Tell him that all of us say he has not done well. Now, in your submission, the submission of the minister, you say some specific observations or input. The bill is silent on location of headquarters. The bill was never silent on location. I say an act to establish National Institute for Educational Planning and Research. Ondo town. Ondo, I put Ondo there. It was never silent on the location. The location remained there and shall be there forever and never for the benefit of this country's education system in Jesus' name. Yeah, that's that. So finally, sir, I've looked at the submission of Legislative Council of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
you are the engine room of this committee.
Yes.
You see, I want you to look at the position of Teacher Legislative Council. They have made fine recommendations, and most of it should be taken care of, because these are the operators, they are the stakeholders. They should be members of the council to determine the quality thing that is necessary to be in this act of parliament. When it becomes law, it becomes the Bible to operate that particular institute for the benefit of Nigerians. All the leakage loopholes, we are going to block it in the National Assembly to make sure that we get the best bill that will enable this institution to be a world-class institution. That is my submission, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Copies of your submissions, and the committee will carefully go through it and pick what is important. I want to appreciate the TRCN registrar for the submission. I think it's the best. My reaction to the DG's position to relocate the institution is no, that it should remain where it is for obvious reasons stated. What we should always take note of when we are given responsibility, position of authority to manage, we should know what our mandate is. Get to study to know what you're expected to do research into it, and take whole grips of that and run with it. When you allow, as a DG, as an institution, for the ministry to midwife whatever statement you make, whatever submissions you do, then you haven't really taken grasp of what you're expected to do. I remember in the last budget presentation, defense, the DJ had said whatever the ministry says, that's what he will do. That for today's presentation, public hearing, that ministry will present the position of the DG, which is what we have witnessed. So, sir, as a DG, take charge. Know what you're to do to help build the institution. The support you need from the lawmakers, we are available, we are ever ready to ensure we give you the backup, and then let the ministry play its own role as the supervising ministry. I don't think TRCN can make the statements or comments that you make. Yes, supervising ministry, report to them, but know what you're to do. As soon as that is done, I think we will be able to build together a better educational sector for our country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, of Ondo East and West Federal Constituency, and Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators present. Mine is to just solidarize with the mover of the bill, distinguished Senator Ayo Akiyerure. He has said it all, and we look forward to this bill in the House for concurrence in support of this bill. And relocating this institute to another place shouldn't be, a point that should be discussed, because that would be a waste of the government fund. I mean, support that the institution should remain where it is, because there's so much fund that has been appropriated to this institution. So it will be like we're wasting all this money that has been spent. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, sir.
As the chairman of this committee, I cannot overrule the position of majority distinguished senators. So I'm also in support. I cannot overrule them because I'm just an individual, and they know the background of the setting of the institution. According to the submissions, I have been hearing that the institution has been there for the past 30 years. And according to one of the speakers, maybe that professor, said that about 800 and something square meters.
1 acres of land.
Yes. Third road and all the infrastructure and facilities are there. So it's not easy. Just like Kuru in just now, we cannot relocate them from Jos to Abuja, so we can follow suit. Having heard of all your submissions and presentations, I think the ball is now in our court to play it well in a form of going through your presentations and submissions so that we make necessary recommendation to the Senate. If, however, there are some gray areas needing some clarification, we will not hesitate to invite any person or group who have made the submission to come and give us the clarification. On behalf of all my colleagues here, I can assure you of all our legislative support to the submissions you have made. Thank you so very much for finding time to attend this public hearing. Thank you so much.
Good.